Welcome to the San Antonio FC Fancast. I'm your host, Royce. With me today, we have two of the, I guess they're the gruesome twosome. We have Matt. Matt, how are you?
Good. Just watching the Trinidad game right now. Just trying to get something.
Yeah, yeah,
Something.
that's a rough result so far for our boy. Um,
Yeah,
Also, I have Rafa with me. Rafa, how are you?
pretty good. Playing, I guess, producer today
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Harry.
Peek behind the curtain. Yeah, Harry's out for bereavement. So thoughts are with him
Hmm.
and his family as he mourns the loss of a family member of a pet, which uh, is a close family member. So never like to hear that, but our thoughts are with you, Harry, as we record the show. So let's move on. Um, with the topic at hand. Obviously, we had a week and a half, 2 week vacation, much like the players did. So we're getting back in the swing of things. Let's talk about the first thing we normally talk about on our show, and that's transactions. So we have had a couple transactions happen since our last show. We brought in Ismaila Jome from the Portland Timbers system. He is a left back, left winger, kind of similar to a Sokar. Obviously, bringing on depth to the squad in that position. That is going to be a pretty important thing later in the season is to get depth. Rafa, how do you feel about the signing? And what do you think it means going forward for the squad?
I think it's a good signing because we do. I think we do need some depth in that area, especially since we play a back three. And also, like I said, with Manley being hurt for most of the season, we need to add some depth to it, and then look at the card situation possibly with Hainer later on. If he accumulates anything with Garcia, how they play. Very physical. Sometimes they unjustified at times for those cards, but and then also, like I said, with Bautista, he's like I said, he had to sit out one, so it's a good sign. I know we have Tulu on there, so we have 5 players there that we can, one can step up from the bench, but it's a good to have that depth on that defense. If someone goes down, we got the next person up. So it's a great sign for SAFC.
Absolutely. I do think we're a little thin on the wings. I agree with you. And that's always good to have the depth. I mean, you have, wing backs, Zico, Manley's been out there a little bit, and Shannon, obviously. And from what we've seen with injuries so far, you're right. I don't think we can count PC as being a dependable left wing back anymore. And a Sokar can play in that role, but he's been more of a forward this season so far. So I do agree with you. Matt, do you have any thoughts on the Jome signing?
I was kind of like shocked that we got another signing so soon. But I mean, like I said, it's good to get more people in now because I mean, hopefully we won't need as much later on, but it's good to have something.
Yeah, depth is depth. Absolutely. So the other transaction that we had, unfortunately, during since our last show, it's a good thing. It's a bad thing. Samuel Adeniran, though, called back by St. Louis City FC or SC, excuse me. And in his first game back over there, he gets the start and he rewards the team by scoring a brace, and they win the game 2-1. And lo and behold, he's on the MLS team of the week. I don't know what they call it. It's team of the week. They call it something else, but yeah, that's really happy for Sam. Obviously, it stinks that we miss his presence in the lineup, but at the same rate, that's why he's here, and that's we love to see his career take off. Obviously, we have Nathan, former striker that's with the Portland Timbers now, doing things. So we love when players move on and move up and do bigger and better things. So shout out to Sam on that one for sure. So moving on, we're going to go into kind of the next segment we normally talk about in the injury list. And we're going to talk about the injury list after the Sacramento game. We're not going to touch it after the San Diego game just because it's a continuing thing and it's always evolving. And we just want to get the latest one that's going on now. So for the Sacramento game, obviously Loera is out for the season with that shoulder injury and the subsequent shoulder surgery. PC still on the sidelines with the lower body injury. We had Batista have a yellow card suspension. Not ideal, but hey, it is what it is. They played a lot of minutes, and big surprise he gets yellow card suspension. As mentioned earlier, Shannon Gomez is on international duty with Trinidad and Tobago, not doing too well against Jamaica. What's up, Matt?
Hold on that. Shannon just gave a great assist to get it to 3-1.
Okay.
So we're 3-1 now.
SAFC doing big things. There you go, Shannon. There you go, big SG. Had a baby. All right. Well, that's a live news update. That's the kind of dynamite drop in we expect from you, Matt. That's well done. Go ahead.
Earning his cap.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. Unfortunately, we will talk about it later, but Carter Manley did get injured during the Sacramento game in kind of a calamity of errors. Maloney completely gets undone, loses the ball, has to track back. As he's tracking back, he tries a slide tackle to win it. Trips the Sacramento player that took the ball from him and nutmegged him, and trips him right into Manley's leg, and Manley goes down in the 7th minute in the Sacramento game. So not ideal, that one. So hopefully Manley's all right. Hopefully it's just a bruise. Hopefully it's just a little knock and he's okay, but it did not look good. He did not walk off the pitch under his own power. He was pretty much carried off. So that didn't look good, but we'll see. We'll see how that evolves. Can't really speak on that until we get an update on Saturday. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, just looking at that play, it looked like hopefully it wasn't his fibula, because or like a femur bone, and hopefully, like I said, I'm praying that it's not broken, because if it's broken, he's pretty much out, possibly be out for the rest of the season too. And I know he's probably been frustrated being out for most, because he hasn't really been on the pitch, and like I said, he's a key member on this team too, especially in the back three, or even have him on the outside too. And I'm sure like I said, he's just frustrated getting all these setbacks, and he takes one step forward, 2 steps back here. So we're praying out for him. Hopefully it's nothing severe. Hopefully it's just a bruise, and he'll be ready. Hopefully maybe not for Saturday's game, but for the next game.
Absolutely, he's just been snake bit this season. I mean, it's been insane. If it's not one thing, it's another. It's very much like Patino was in the 2001 season or the 2021 season. Look at me, 20 years in the past. Where he just kept getting injured. He'd see a match or two, and then boom, he's out. And it came down to Marcina's kind of shining moment with the players, where they interviewed Patino, and Patino's like, he told me, this is where you make yourself. This is where you show your guts, is getting back despite all the injuries. So hopefully Manley's all right. Hopefully it's not as severe as it looked, and he's back with the squad soon. So returning players from health. So the IL is getting shorter. We had Isaiah Parker. He actually saw the pitch against Sacramento. Garcia's back, as is Hansen. So those are key players to get back. Parker was out for a little while. Garcia was out for a little bit, and Hansen was out probably due to a head injury of some kind, I believe. So it's good to have those three back. Matt, how do you feel about the IL getting shorter, but at the same time, growing again?
I mean, am I worried about it? Not really. I mean, it feels just like last year. We were in the same rut with all the injuries, and I mean, I don't know if we still have room for signs, but I mean, it's literally just feels like last year. Maybe a little bit worse in the sense of not making the best choices, but I mean, hey, it, just gotta keep faith in these guys, whether it's healthy or not. You just gotta keep faith in it.
Agreed. And Rafa, your thoughts on the players getting healthy as well as the IL possibly increasing?
I think like kind of piggyback a little bit on Matt is like we had the same situation last year, but I think the only difference is that I think these setbacks are really also are taking more of a toll on the team than they were last year. Because last year, we had some injuries, but someone always stepped up to the plate and did what they had to do, and we kept winning and getting the results. This year, it's not so much. We're getting these injuries and we're making mental mistakes, and that's costing us games at the end. Or I guess we're lucky they only have 3 losses. That's the positive side about all these injuries. If I think we're any other team, maybe like Hartford or Loudon or maybe or RGV, we'd probably be at the close to the bottom of the table. But I think hopefully this team fights. It's like kind of like I said, finish the fight. If they can fight through the injuries and get back to kind of basics and do what they need, build that confidence. I think we can kind of hopefully get on a roll towards going into the playoffs and so forth. Like I said, we haven't peaked yet. I think we're due to peak as far as playing better. But like I said, which we'll discuss more of that later. But I think hopefully this will overcome this, and we can get seeing some results.
Yeah, I completely agree with your thoughts on last season. Just seemed like it was next man up, and they kept going. And this season, June has been a little frustrating, but at the same rate, we're 17 games down. They've only lost 3, so we're still right in the thick of it, still right in the striking distance. And if we can get some things figured out, I think we'll be all right. I do agree with you. So let's use that as a transition period. Let's play some transition music. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. All right. Since we don't have Harry the producer, we're just going to kind of do it on the fly now. But moving on, we'll talk about the San Diego match here for a little bit. Kind of set it up a little bit. So going into the San Diego match, it was right after we played San Diego back to back. No, we didn't play back to back. It was San Diego, El Paso, then San Diego. So this is right after another
short week.
Yeah, it was a short week and another draw that kind of felt like a loss. Going into San Diego right before a week and a half break where players got a little vacation in the middle of the season. Kind of wanted to get something out of this one for sure. So what were your thoughts, Rafa, going into the San Diego match after the El Paso match and kind of the bad taste we had in our mouth from that one?
Well, also the bad taste from the fiasco with Nate Miller's crying at the game and really changing the landscape of that game with Tani getting that second yellow. I'm sure these guys are really wanting to get the revenge factor and up them there in San Diego, and then it turned out way early on. They got scored on us first, but we came back, Sam with the PK, and then Manley with that incredible goal, but which ended up getting a little hurt on that one, and it looked like we were going to get some payback, and just ended up giving up a late one. Just surprised that this should have been a second yellow card on one of the San Diego's players. I think the officials kind of bit us on our butts again, and I think had he had gotten that second yellow, I think we end up winning this game, kind of like the mirror image of the first matchup. But we got the tie, so they didn't gain any points, from them, that tie from at our place, so we kind of evened ourselves out. So it's a good result too, because we were behind, and normally when we play behind, we don't play well, but we're able to have the lead for a little bit, but just because we gave it up. But so decent result. So I'm happy. Like I said, could have gotten 3, but hey, I'll take the tie there. So like I said, we paired things up with them.
Yeah, and real quick, just go over the lineup. We had obviously Farr in goal, which spoiler alert, that's going to change in this next match. Tanner in the center back, mainly to the right, Batista to the left center as center backs. Then you had Asokar and Maloney as the wing backs. And, you had Abu playing the 6. You had Rita and Jorge playing the 2 8s in front of Abu. And then in front of them, you had Adeniran and Tanny. So pretty strong lineup. Definitely what I figured would probably be the strongest lineup that we could play going into that one. So, and like you said, San Diego scored super early, and that's a big thing that we haven't. San Antonio never really did last season, is go down early. And we've done that a few times already this season. And I think this season the team is learning to play behind. And that's something that they're not used to. And that's something that they definitely need to add to their locker. And I think that's what they're working on now. But we'll go into that later. We'll talk about the San Diego match right now. So they go down early. And then right after half, there's a long pass towards Sam's way, and there's a handball by one of the San Diego players, called a penalty. Sam converts the penalty, and then later in the match, as you said, Zico gets subbed in. He has a nice 180 turn to a cross and finds the head of Manley, and he scores the winner. I thought it was going to be like Pittsburgh last season, where Manley scores the winner and we move on. Unfortunately, San Diego put a lot of pressure on San Antonio in the last 15 minutes of this match, and they do end up getting a goal to bring it level, and that's how it ends. Matt, how did you feel about the San Diego match in the result of the draw on the road?
I mean, I can't say it is what it is, but in a sense, it kind of is. I mean, they did play well to react to that first goal. To me, I feel like they played well enough to react to it. Now the mistakes that happened towards the end, the second goal, did get me a little bit, but it's like I said, I'm not too worried. I'm not too frustrated with it. It's just we just need to make better decisions on position, who's gonna do what, and at the end of the day, I mean, all I could say is these past games are just learning lessons for the future.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's like I said, they're we'll go into it later, kind of how we feel about how the season's gone and kind of the lessons that are being learned. So we'll move on. Obviously, they had the draw, and then there's a week and a half off where the players got to go on vacation. I know a bunch of the players ended up in Miami and just kind of enjoying things. Obviously, Maloney stayed home with his new baby. So that's kind of how that went. And then the players returned back to San Antonio and immediately flew to Sacramento to play the number 1 team in the West. So a little difficult coming off of vacation. I kind of thought it was a trap game. I wasn't expecting a lot. I thought their performance would suffer because of the vacation. We've seen it before last season. if you remember, they had their weekend off, and when they came back, they played Loudon, and they immediately went down 1-0 to Loudon, and then ended up beating Loudon 5-1 as they should have. But Loudon came out super strong and kind of give us a scare on that one last season. So, like I said, this season after vacation week, we immediately play Sacramento, which is a little difficult, but we'll get into it. The lineup on this one, Far starting in keeper, Manley, Garcia, and Taintor are the triplets in the back as the center backs. The wing backs were Osokar and Zico Bailey. And then in the middle, or I'm sorry, it was how did we set up in this one?
We played a 3-5-2.
So it was
Zokar on the wing and Maloney on the wing.
So it was Zokar and Maloney on the wing. Okay, because we also had Bailey out there, and I thought Bailey was going to play as a wing back. That's right. What? Because we had 3 wing backs, and it confused me. But yeah, I think was it Zico that tucked in?
Mm-hmm.
So Zico tucked in with Abu. Looking this up on the fly. Hold on.
I then had Hernandez.
Completely forgot about that one. Yeah, we had Hernandez and then Tanny and Dylan up front. Yeah, so the graphic shows Bailey and Osokar on the right, but Bailey is the wingback and Osokar tucked inside. So that's interesting on the graphic. But either way, pretty strong lineup. I think it was a little more offensive, and we kind of paid for that. Spoiler alert. So going into this match, kind of how the game went, Sacramento just tore through us like Swiss cheese in the first 15 minutes, and they ended up getting a goal. They press Maloney. Maloney loses the ball. He tries to track back, and in his tracking back, he fouls a player in the box. Penalty.
Manley gets hurt.
Right. Yeah. Manley gets hurt. That's what I was trying to think of. Sorry. So Manley gets hurt on that. And then later on in the match, Sacramento scores another. So it's 2-0. We pull one back through Nacho. There's a nice little interplay between
Hernandez and Nacho. I think that was that was passed from them.
Right. Yeah. The pass was from Hernandez, and then went out wide, and then threw a ball to Nacho. So that was a really nice goal to make it 2-1. And then that's kind of where the calamity happened. Long ball. So Sacramento sits back to defend. There's a long ball to go over everybody to try to get try to find Sacramento another goal. Far comes out of his box to try to claim the ball, fouls the player. It's dog, so it's a denial of a scoring opportunity. Gets a straight red. Far's off, and on the ensuing free kick, because we're out of subs, Fabian Garcia has to play goalkeeper. It is a wonderful free kick from Luis Felipe. Does Jordan Farr save it? I think he does, but unfortunately, it's Fabian Garcia in the net, and it's in the upper 90. So it's tough for a professional keeper to stop, let alone a center back. So that goes in. It's 3-1. Pretty soon after that, Mitch Taintor has a nice little slide tackle to remind Sac Republic who they lost. He gets a yellow for that. And then the ref inexplicably 2 seconds later brings up another yellow and tries to give him a red to send him off. And Tainer's like, that was my first yellow. What are you talking about? And the ref's like, no, it's 2. You're off. So, and we found out today that has been rescinded. That is rescinded back to just a yellow card. So Taintor will be available for the upcoming match against Birmingham. Far will not be available for the upcoming match. It'll probably be Mercado starting. Matt, how did you feel about this match, and how do you feel about the result now?
Hey, I mean, it's like I told some of the guys. Every championship, every team that does so well, you're gonna need a nightmare. It's gonna have to happen. And I think this was our nightmare. This was the game that if everything could go wrong, it kind of did. So it's a bruiser, but you still gotta keep your head high and keep, just like I said, keep faith in these guys. Do I agree with some of the calls in this game? No, I don't. But I mean, they tried hard enough. They at least got a point out of it. I can be at least okay with that. They at least scored. But at the end of the day, you just find the key.
Yeah, in the Sacramento match, if I remember correctly, their player Edeta decided to give a straight elbow to the back of Maloney after the whistle had gone, and the ref just gave him like a "What are you doing? You need to stop that," instead of the yellow that he deserved. And then, of course, later on, he pretty much does the same thing again, and once again goes completely unpunished. So that was frustrating to watch. Two pretty clear yellow card offenses go completely ignored. We sound like a broken record, and because it's happened constantly throughout the season, and it's just going to be one of those things that San Antonio FC is going to have to rise above as a team. You know what to expect. The refs aren't giving you crap, and they're going to give everybody every opportunity to get something on you. You've got to overcome that. It is what it is. We know how it's going to go. We know what's going on. So, Rafa, how did you feel about the result at Sacramento?
I think we in this game we came, I think, a little not prepared. You know, the first meeting we had, it was a 0-0 tie. I think that game we did outplay Sacramento. We were just not lucky to get the ball into the net. I think this game, I think they should have realized is, hey, they're gonna come after us, especially the last. I don't know if we can say we're maybe kind of been like a wounded animal the last two games prior to this one. So Sacramento kind of felt, hey, let's jump on them early. Let's be aggressive and see if we can put these guys away, because if they stay hanging around, you know, they may end up coming back and stealing points from us, and that's you know, and Sacramento did it, you know. They kind of blitzkrieged us right away. They confused us, and we were just not communicating well in the back. And but I think once we got that first goal with Nacho, we were building momentum. I think we were building momentum, and I think we were gonna get that second goal to tie things up. But you know, that situation with Jordan coming out of the line and getting that straight red pretty much kind of derailed that, and that just killed us, and we just weren't able to recover from that. And you know, yeah, there were some issues with some of the calls. You know, I think there were some calls that, you know, maybe they should have been a down a man, but it's been like that the last few weeks. And one of the things I think SAFC needs to realize is we need to come out as the aggressor on some of these games, and not allow the officials to dictate. You know, and also we got to play smarter too. You know, it's okay to be aggressive, but we got to be smart about those things. And I think the difference between this year and last year, like when we did play aggressive, you know, it didn't hurt us. This year, it's hurting us, especially on being down a man or with the cards and so forth. So, but we learn from this. I think we still match up well with Sacramento. So if we play them in the playoffs, I still think we can go up there and beat them. You know, if we have if the team is focused and we have a good game plan, I think we can do it. So that's just my thoughts for that game, and we just got to move on and get ready for this coming Saturday.
Agreed. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of depth on this team, and I don't think Marcina and his coaching staff know what the best 11 are. So I think that's kind of what they're trying to figure out still, and find some chemistry, because as I've said over and over again, you need to have time on the field with that set group of players to build some chemistry together in order to succeed. So unfortunately, California road trip, we get 1 point out of 2 games. Not ideal. But hey, it is what it is. So Nacho goal against Sacramento, and then against San Diego, Manly goal, and Adeniran PK, Adeniran with St. Louis, obviously, as we've said now. So looking forward to this Saturday's 4th of July celebration match against Birmingham. Obviously, Jordan Farr will be suspended. Everybody else is available with the exception of Shannon Gomez, who will still be with Trinidad and Tobago at the Gold Cup. Excuse me. One can dream. He'll be at the World Cup. We'll see what happens in 2026. But
they might, because they have some 2-3 more spots for them. So
there's
you may see Shannon go.
a lot more spots. That's correct. Because hey, what's FIFA? Money. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, got a lot of soul searching and some figuring out to do, but at the same rate, like we've said, we're 16 games in, 17 will be halfway. We're 16 games in. We've only lost 3 matches. Like we can complain all we want. Yes, they had a rough June. They're still in very good position to succeed for sure. So moving on, we asked you out there on Twitter and on Facebook, what are your preferred formations going forward with the team? And we got some interesting responses. So the first one I'm going to go over. Rafa, can you throw things on the screen or?
I'm not sure if I can.
Okay, that's all right. I can do it verbally. Not a big deal. Like we said, we have our usual producer. So I'm just going to do it verbally. It's fine for you in YouTube land and watching us live. Hey, imagine with us or get a pen and paper and write it out like I had to and enjoy. There you go. With the mallet over there, Matt. So, at L_Jesus, the S's are 5s. He submitted that he would like to see looks like a 3-5-2, which is what we normally run. In the back, he wants Taintor, Garcia, Batista. Pretty good. He wants a double pivot midfield with PC and Abu in the back. If PC was healthy, I wouldn't mind seeing that either. In front of them, and that would definitely help out with our defensive woes, kind of get things a little more stable there and let things happen going forward. In front of them is going to sit Hernandez as a 10. The wingers would be Azokar and Maloney. I think that's a pretty good choice for a pairing. And then in front, he had Dylan and Adeniran. I changed Adeniran to Tanny just for availability. Obviously, Adeniran's in St. Louis now, but I think that's a pretty strong formation to go forward with. And obviously, with PC being hurt, you can replace him with Rita. You can replace him with Ja'Cory Hayes. It's a pretty good formation, especially it stabilizes the back, which that will only help us going forward if you stabilize the back. So we had another one submitted by Goleador Sucioso, or at Goleador Sucioso. That's not his Christian name. That's obviously his handle. He has Farr in the back. He has a back 3 as well, but he has Batista, Tulu, and Taintor. It's an interesting center back. It's a very physical center back triplets. Going forward in the midfield, he has a midfield pairing of Maloney and Zuhir. And then wing backs Gomez and Sokar. He has a 3-4-3 going on. And then in front of them, he has a number 10 pairing of Pirano and Hernandez. And in front of them, Tanny as a lone striker. So that's an interesting formation there. A lot of creativity there on the wings. It's kind of very much like a Chelsea formation, which Goleador Sucioso is a Chelsea fan. Big surprise there.
I think that one. I think with that formation, if you look at it, because I'm looking here on the screen you know, Pirano with Hernandez outside there, those outside
You
forwards.
mean you wrote it down like everybody else at home's writing it down,
Write it
right?
down.
Yeah.
Like I'm writing it down. One of the things they're good as are the 1v1s, and maybe that'd be. I think that they could create some chaos there, and then also be able to feed Tiny. I think balls too to go. I think one of the things I think they're figuring out which I'll save a bit. So as far as which I think this could be a good lineup. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. On to the next.
All right, next one I got from Spurs fan Rig. I'm sorry, at Spurs fan Rig. So he has he said he wanted to have this as a 4-3-3, which is very much similar to what Rafa has been preaching. He has a very physical back line of all center backs. He has Manley, Garcia, Taintor, and Batista, which is interesting. That would be very physical, and you'd win pretty much every single aerial duel for sure. In front of them as a 6, you have Rita Zuhir. As the 2-8s, you have Gomez and Maloney. That's a lot of pace with Gomez, and you have a little stability with Maloney. So that's an interesting midfield 3. In front of them, you have Asokar and Tanny, and then Nacho as the number 9. So that's a very interesting formation. A couple players kind of out of position, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it's not going to work, because as we've seen, Marcina really appreciates and utilizes the
hybrids.
The versatility of players, like Maloney being a center back earlier this season. So, stranger things have happened. So that's a pretty good one. And then to finish it out, we had Carolyn at CG Stefco. She has a 3-5-2, which is what we've been deploying. So the back 3, you have Manley, Garcia, Taintor. Garcia, the center back. We've seen that. In front of them as the 6, you have Ja'Cory Hayes. I think that's a pretty good call as a 6. And then in front of Hayes as a 2-8s, you have Pirano and Abu. That's very interesting. A lot of passing opportunities there from both of them. The wingbacks, you have Maloney and Gomez. We've seen those two being wingbacks. That's pretty on brand. And then the striker pairing of Tanny and Nacho. I think that's a pretty good striker pairing. So that's a pretty good formation. Do you have any thoughts, Matt, on let's just kind of keep things simple. Who do you want to see as the back 3 on the back line? I think that's been the biggest area of concern for people. We are not used to SAFC. Well, let's put it this way. In the last season or two, big old grain of salt, last season or two, San Antonio FC hasn't really been scored on that much, and we've seen more scoring against than we're used to. So to bring a little bit of stability into the team, who would you like to see as the back 3, Matt?
I would like to see on the 2 sides, Taintor and Batista, and then in the middle would be Garcia. That's my back 3. Going forward, I would probably do Asokar, Rita, maybe Hernandez, and also Maloney. And then, how many more am I missing? 2 more, right?
Yep, 2 more up top.
So then I would say Nacho and Tanny. That would be mine.
All right.
And just see how that plays out.
Pretty solid. Rafa, what's your preferred 11?
Real quick, Shannon got subbed out.
All right, so Shannon leaves the field. I guess that'd be a -2 overall with an assist. Can't argue with the assist though. That's a big one. An assist in the Gold Cup, pretty darn good. All right, Rafa, what's your preferred 11?
Well, I like to play a 3-4-3, and what I'm seeing that we're not doing what we did last year, which was our secret sauce. And I know I've discussed this on Twitter. When someone asked, "What is the secret sauce?" We're not pressing high anymore like we used to. Last year, we blitzkrieg defenses and did not allow anybody to get out of their side of the field. They're defending third. And one of the things that we did really well is like our midfielders would steal, intercept balls from the back, and that's how we end up doing those little counter attacks, getting goals, scoring quick, and getting ahead right away. We are not doing that this year. The only game that I saw that was that 7-0 blitzkrieg on Charleston. And as far as tactic wise, that's what I want to see, and we're not doing it because, frankly, what I'm noticing, the other teams, the other coaches, they pretty much have figured us out, and we have not seen any our coaching side make changes to counter that. They're gonna have to come up with something to not be predictable. I think teams are defending us better on the long balls, and we have one of the worst percentages on long ball, around the 20s. So my formation, like I said, I mentioned the 3-4-3. I do want to start, like I said, Garcia, Tainer, Batista. As far as the four, I'll have, like I say, on the wings, I'll have a Zorcar. Well, actually, you know what? I'll change that back. I'm going to go ahead because Sam's no longer there, so I'm going to change. So I'm going to have Gomez on one of the wings, Maloney on the other wing. My two center mids, attacking mid's going to be Rita. It's going to be Hernandez, and I'm going to start Ja'Cory Hayes. I think Ja'Cory's very. One thing with him, he's done really well. I think we got to give him an opportunity. Not a knock on Abu. Abu's done a great job, but I think it's Ja'Cory's time. I think him a little younger, fresh legs, and that, remember, Abu's coming back from an injury too, so we kind of had to rush him a little bit. So I wonder if that's affected his game, but he would be a good change of pace as a sub. So we're Hernandez, Hayes, and then up top, I have Dylan as my central center forward. Tani on the right side, and Ozarka on the left side, or switch on one of those. So I'm going to add some speed on the outside and some physicalness to the guys that come in and create goals. What Dylan does, what I saw, especially last year, he did a lot of the dirty work when we press, and he knows how to close space and cause kind of chaos back there. And then when he does steal the ball, he knows how to feed balls. And we saw that last year with Sam and with Patino. I think he can do that with Tani, and I think with Sokar, and that can create more chances. So that would be my starting 11. Play a 3-4-3 with a high press. That's our secret sauce. We need to go back to that. But we also need to limit the long balls too. I think we need to play little more possession, play it, let it wide. But when we do see those opportunities with space, send the ball to space and go attack it. Because, like I said, we're already been figured out. The coaching staff needs to come up with a different tactic to make our guys succeed and give the other teams something to really think about, as far as defending us.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to agree on that one. I'm going to hold my preferred 11 until our next show, which our next show is going to be the halfway show through the season, and we'll kind of review the first half of the season, and we'll do the second half looking forward. But I definitely want to hold it until then, because I want to see what Marcina rolls out this coming week, which will be very interesting, because he kind of has more or less everybody available, obviously, except for Gomez and except for PC and Loera, but pretty much, and Farr is going to be suspended, but all the outfield players, he has just about everybody available. I'm interested to see how he goes about doing that. So, just for stats sake, Shannon Gomez did not get the assist on the goal for Trinidad and Tobago. That was Levi Garcia that got the assist. So Unfortunate. But Shannon Gomez, a -2 against Jamaica with DeMarty Gray on that Jamaica squad. Hey, that's not too terrible. So, moving forward, let's go with mentality monster of the match. We'll do San Diego and we'll do Sacramento. Matt, who is your mentality monster of the match for the San Diego match and for the Sacramento match?
So San Diego, I would say Manley for that last goal, and then for this last match, I will go Nacho because he kind of got that engine running. I mean, like it was just unfortunate in the end, but yeah, those would be my two.
Rafa?
San Diego game, I'm going to give that to Sam because he stepped up, took the PK. I think that was an era that we've kind of been lacking a little bit, but now that he's gone, we'll see who steps up. As far as Sacramento, everything kind of like went wrong that day, but I'm gonna go with Nacho. I think Nacho really I think he brought some momentum into that game, and I think had we not got that red card, I think we tie it up, and I think he was really key getting open to spaces, and that's how we got that goal. So I'm gonna give that Nacho the mentality monster for that game.
For the San Diego match, I'm gonna go with Jordan Farr. He made some incredible saves and really kept us in that match. And then Sacramento, what am I going to tell you? I think it's Nacho. I agree that it's a sub, which is not ideal, but I don't think anybody had a particularly good game in that match except for perhaps Nacho. But yeah, that was a rough one. So let's move on with our final thoughts. Matt, do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, it's just like I said earlier in the show. All champions have to have a nightmare, and we pretty much hit ours this past week. Whether or not some of the fans feel a certain way with the team, you got to look at it this way. Yes, it's a little bit worse. It depends how you look at it, but at the same time, I mean, we got plenty more playing time to go. I think we have 17 more matches coming up. So we can't just automatically say, "Oh, we're not perfect anymore. We gotta go." Like we can't do that. I just gotta keep y'all's heads up and just remember, it's just forever loyal. That's the only thing I can say. Forever loyal to it, defeat or victory.
Agreed. And like I said, there's 18 matches left, obviously 17 after this Saturday's match. But like you said, I mean, look at the numbers. We've only lost 3 matches in 16. So not bad. We're still in a playoff spot. We're still in the top half of the playoff spot. We're still in a home match for the playoffs. So we're still in a really good spot, and we haven't even peaked yet. So think of it that way. El Paso has definitely peaked. We'll see if they can keep it up. I don't think so. So we're in a pretty darn good position. Rafa, your final thoughts?
Before I hit the final thoughts, as far as like with the Birmingham game, like I said, it's going to be a tough one. Like I said, they were a playoff team last year. I think we squeaked one out last year with them, so they're going to bring it. But I think the boys hopefully be ready to go, shake off this West Coast trip and get it going. And I know we have a lot of confidence in Carlos Mercado. He's going to be the goalkeeper. He's going to get I think it's his first USL, his debut, like his first start ever. I believe
it's his first start. Right, he got some minutes when Cardoni went down in the last match. This will be his first start. Right, he got some minutes when Cardoni went down.
But they're before the playoffs. Yeah.
But
the last game of the season.
Last match of the season in Colorado Springs, correct.
Yeah. So this will be his first official, like I said, start. So good luck to Carlos. So we have confidence in you. And like I said, he's got a good defense in front. Just Carlos is a little bit different, very vocal, so maybe that'll get it going there. But my final thought, like I said, as far as with the fan base and all that, you got to be patient. It is tough to repeat as champion. Being the coaching side, like I can tell you that it is tough to repeat, win a second consecutive championship, because you're no longer the hunter, you're the hunted, and everybody's going to bring their A game against you. And right now, I know we haven't had the best of luck, but like you mentioned, like I said, we haven't peaked yet, and hopefully we can shake off this little. I'd rather have the rut now than towards the end of the season, because if we can get it going, and that's kind of what we did last year. We kind of got it rolling around August and September. We'll be good to go. And like I said, we're still a dangerous team. They got to beat us in order to win the championship. And I think a lot of teams would give them matchup nightmares. So just keep the faith. And if you're going this Saturday, get out there, cheer them on. It's going to be fun. Like I said, some fireworks, get it going. And we look forward for this game against Birmingham.
And the first 1,000 people at the match, I believe, get a towel. So that's another thing. There is a giveaway. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with both of y'all. Keep the faith. We're still a top tier team, top half team for sure, in the league. And like I said, we haven't peaked. We've more or less gone through a rough patch. We've been injured a lot. We've gone through a rough patch in June. Things are looking up going forward, and I have the faith that by August, September, October, we'll be sitting pretty, and we'll kind of be laughing at what happened in June. Like, oh yeah, that was kind of the rough patch, but hey, like Matt said, you got to have that rough patch, and you got to learn how to deal with it, learn something about yourself to succeed. So my final thought is going to be that our thoughts and our prayers are with the Corpus CFC organization, their fans, and the family and friends of Melvin Molina. One of their players unfortunately passed away in a tragic car accident a couple days ago. So they're grieving, and we just want to send our thoughts out to you guys, guys and gals, and everybody else over there. That's just a tough scene, and we're with you. And if you could donate to their GoFundMe, please seek it out. We tweeted it out a couple days ago on Twitter. So please go find the link and donate if you can for expenses and whatnot. And also thoughts and prayers also out to Harry. Harry, like we said at the top of the show, he's dealing with the loss of a family member, one of his cats, Skittles. So kind of a downer way to end it, but hopefully we see everybody out there on Saturday to root the boys on. It's a fireworks night. Let's get some energy going, and hopefully we can turn that into 3 points at home, and we can turn the season around. So what's life without goals? We'll catch y'all later. See ya.